Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called I Made You a Mixtape. I Made You a Mixtape is a game published by, I think, Massive Asterisk, designed by Mike DiLisio and Dan Hughes. You may know some of those names if you watch other board game YouTube channels. Plays 1 to 4 players, ages 10 plus, in about 30 minutes, and all that is accurate. Effectively, what you're doing in this game is, if you remember the 90s and getting a cassette tape, finding songs on the radio and recording them, that's kind of what you're doing here. You're making a mixtape of all your favorite songs. That's the theme. The gameplay is basically, it's an I split you choose game. You're going to have 3 cards. You're going to divide into 2 and a stack of 2 and a stack of 1. You're going to give it to the player on your left. They're going to keep one, give you the other, and you're going to do the same with the player on your right. And you're going to have some cards and you're going to place them down. What you're trying to do is, there's A tapes and there's B tapes. When you play a tape to either side, it's going to adjust your balance, and you're trying to keep your balance in the middle for the most points. So you're trying to make the best mixtape you can by having it in balance. And also, there's some tape, the ribbon that's inside the tape. There's some of that that's going through the cards. You want to try to have that connect across all the cards. And if that's not enough, you want to try to get a few genres, a lot of them. So if I have a rock tape, I want to get a bunch of them, because the more of the single genre you get, the more points you get. So a whole bunch of ways to score points from a really basic premise. So if that sounds interesting, or if it doesn't sound interesting, I don't know. Let's just go down to the table and see how it works. All right, so here's a game of I Made You a Mixtape, all set up for 2 players. Setup is pretty simple. You're going to shuffle this big deck of cards here, and then based on the number of players, which I forgot to do, you're going to take out a number of cards, so 4 cards out in a 2-player game. And then each player is going to get their fader, their mixer, I forget what it's called, but this dashboard here. You're going to have a track, a side A, a track B, and then you're going to have a middle. You're going to put the cube on 30. Okay, so I've done that. And then each player is going to take a card, and you're going to start your mixtape. Okay? All right, so there we go. Now we are ready to play. Okay, so the way this game works, I'm not going to play through a ton of it. You'll see it after a couple rounds. The way this game works is each player is going to draw 3 cards. Okay, so this player will draw 3. This player will draw 3. Then you're going to divide those cards into 2 stacks, two piles. Okay, so maybe I want to do this. Okay, so we got Pour Some Sugar on Me, Holding Back the Years, and Rock and Roll High School. Okay, again, these are going to be face down. They're not going to know what I'm doing. I'm just showing you guys what I'm doing. So here's a Wild, and then we'll go ahead and do this. Okay, so this is the piles. Then what's going to happen is this player is going to give me these. I'm going to give them these 2. They're going to keep the one that they want, and they're going to say, let's keep that one. So they're going to give this one back to me. And then I'm going to keep one of these and give back to them. I want to keep this one, and I'll give them these, okay? Then what's going to happen is you're going to put them into your tableau here. What you're trying to do is you're trying to match the ribbon connections, okay? And that's going to help you have a good flow for your tape. But the other problem is, I should have done this, you're also trying to make sure you stay in balance. So right now, I'm going to be playing a bunch of A's, and I'm not going to be staying in balance too much. So we're going to go this way. So that's going to make me go down 1. We'll do the Wild here. It's going to make me go down 2, but I have a good flow going, and that's going to make me go down 1. Okay, so I'm down to 10 points, which is not great. Let me slide this up a little bit. I didn't know if we were going to run out of room. Okay, hang on. Let me slide this up. Okay, now they're going to do the same thing. They have a B. I didn't have a B. It says B right there, so B side goes over here. And that's going to move them one back to the center, closer to the center. Now they have an A, and they're going to put, they don't want either of these, so let's go here for 3 and 2. Again, they probably wouldn't have taken these, but I was just showing you how the game works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's one round. Let's play another round, and then I'm going to show you how the scoring works because you're going to understand how this game plays. Okay. There's 3 cards. Okay, so I have Live Forever, Sweet. I can't read some of these. Smooth Operator. Ooh, I love Sade. And I just called to say, all right. And I think I need to get some B, so I'm going to do it like this. Actually, let's do it like that. And then they're going to do, they're going to do this. Okay. I'm going to give these to them. They're going to give these to me. So these are the ones that are coming to me. These are the ones that are going to them. And they're going to take this, give me this. So I'm going to have more A's. So I'm going to take this one, give these to them. Okay. So I only have 2 A's now. So let's go 3, 5. This is terrible. I'm at negative 12 points. I got to get some B tracks. All right. Then they're going to play these. So they have, all right, this will keep the flow going. Goes down 2. This will go down 2. But then we're going to go up 2 the other way. And up 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. And that's how the game's going to keep playing until the deck runs out. Okay, so you're going to keep playing like this until all the cards are gone. Then what's going to happen is you're going to score. So let's look at the scoring track. This is the game we played yesterday. You're going to score your balance. So wherever your token is, you're going to get that many points. I'm thinking of the game, I'm not going to be here, obviously, and I made some stupid choices. But so I would get negative 12. They would get whatever they're on, 5 or 10. Then you're going to look at your flow. Flow is the hardest part of this. Now, flow is basically when the tape lines up. So just look at this, for example. This one lines up with this one, so that's a point. This one lines up with that one, so that's 3 points. This one lines up with this one, so that's 3 points. This one lines up with this one, but does not line up with this one, so that's 1 point. So it's 1, 3, 3, 1. I believe. That's how we scored it. That seems to be the way that makes most sense. So this would be 8 points in flow. You're going to do the same thing to this side. They're going to do the same thing. And then, to both of their sides, you're going to write those points down. Add up the total. Then you're going to look at genres. I didn't talk about this, but each of the tapes have a genre. So the purple tapes are R&B. The black is rock. Yellow is alternative. It also says it like on the bottom of the tape. But there's also an icon if you can't see that. It's kind of hard to see the icons, but you can break down your whole thing and do it at the end of the game so you don't really have to focus on it. And wilds do not count, but you're going to go through and you're going to count all of your genres. And on the back of this, the more of each genre you have, the more points you're going to get. So if you can get 12 of a genre, you're going to get 78 points. Good luck, but then you're going to add all that together, and then whoever has the most points is the winner. That's the game. In my expansion, or in my game, I kickstarted it. It also came with some of these cool cards that we can make our own. Put our own songs on there, which is pretty fun. Like I could put Black Honey. I could put Emergence from Sleep Token. We could do Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. All that kind of good stuff. So just more fun. So it plays the 4, and it's going to play like that no matter how many players that you play with. Even the solo game is pretty similar. You can play solo. I haven't done that yet, but it'll have a similar vibe. So that is... Let me stack this up so you can see it better. I made you a mixtape. Let's go up the top and see what we think about it. All right, so that was I Made You a Mixtape. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out, let me look at some of these music cards here. The tape cards have actual band names or song names. This is Love Fool. This is Super Freak. So they have actual song titles. Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House. So many good good actual songs on these. And if you back the Kickstarter, which I did, it comes with some tapes that you can write your own songs on there. So I could have, Dance Macabre by Ghost, or I can have Emergence from Sleep Token, or I can have Espresso from Sabrina Carpenter, all that kind of thing that I can make on my own tape. So that's pretty cool. Now, other than that, the gameplay is just basically cards. And this is an I Split You Choose game, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'll admit, it's not my favorite mechanism. I just don't enjoy that. Making hard choices and passing them. People can take stuff that I want. I don't like that, the way that's implemented. I understand worker placement can do the same thing. I just don't like it in I Split You Choose. But I will say in this, that's just a piece of it. The real piece is trying to balance your A's and your B tracks while keeping flows, while making sure you're not getting every single genre because you're going to water down some of your points. So the I Split You Choose is just the vehicle to do the other three things. And I think that the way that works, works well in this. The game's, it says 30 minutes. We played a 4-player game in about 20 minutes, including teach. It's not a hard game. Once you play through a round, you know exactly what you're doing. I will say the hardest part that I thought, and maybe I even showed it in the overview wrong, was the flow. I feel like I was scoring the flow wrong because I'm not exactly sure. I thought it would be 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. But then if everything before it and after it meets and you have a 3, it would basically be 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1 until you can't meet it anymore. So I may have done that wrong. That's a little bit confusing to me. But aside from that, everything is really straightforward. I don't like to use that word, but everything is pretty self-explanatory and makes the most sense. That's the one part that I felt maybe I'm not understanding it correctly, but it worked. We still scored. It just may have been not exactly correct scoring. But overall, I enjoy this game. I think the theme is awesome. Reminds me of when I was a kid, waiting for a song to come on the radio and recording some songs on a cassette. And it's just fun. Using the actual songs is great. And I have no real issues with it. It's not a game I'm going to want to play all the time again because I Split You Choose. And I'm not super in. I guess it's solidly a filler game. So if I was waiting on somebody to show up or somebody's finishing up a game, I can maybe bust this out and play through it. But it's not one that I'm probably going to grab off the table a ton or off the shelf a ton. Not because I don't like it, just because I'd rather play something else. Which is where I usually stand with a lot of these little filler-ish games is I'll play them if somebody wants to. I just never reach for them myself. So that's where this is. I'm still going to give this a BGG Accept the Seal. It's going to get a 7 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.5 out of 5 wrenches on our arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give the games that we enjoy, and that's what I'm going to do. So that is a Major Mixtape by Massive Asterisks and designed by Mike DiLisio and Dan Hughes from the Dice Tower, if you don't know where they were when I mentioned it earlier. And I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.